Hi everyone, and welcome back to my No Buy Year. So today I wanted to expand upon the idea that shopping is a moral decision. So I explored this idea once before in a video on the easiest ways to stop shopping, in which I talked about how limiting your exposure to influence is part of it, and then also arming yourself with information that makes you want to not shop, or curbs the desire to shop and look for things to want in general. So I'm going to kind of lay it out in a more maybe black and white, clear way in this video. And when I was thinking about it, how shopping could be viewed as a moral decision, it struck me as a kind of Matrix style idea where you've got the red pill and the blue pill, and you've got to choose how you proceed forward. I once was told by one of my Korean uncles that I actually resemble Keanu Reeves. So let me know, do you see the resemblance? Maybe that makes me qualified to talk about this. So shopping as a moral dilemma, a moral decision, brings to mind also parallels with diet and philosophies of diet, specifically veganism. And I don't want to alienate anybody watching this video right away by bringing the vegan card into it, but I think it's a useful framework from which to build upon when we talk about shopping as a moral decision. Because the discussions about veganism are already so well established and kind of we're generally aware of them. I did follow a mostly vegan diet for several years, and I don't anymore. So I don't identify as a strong ethical vegan, obviously, or I would still be following the plant-based diet and not wearing leather and silk. But one of the premises of being a vegan is that you think it's morally and ethically wrong to kill animals for human gain. Either you believe this and therefore you can't partake, or you don't believe this and you can partake. You can't kind of halfway believe it. I don't necessarily agree that life is like that, where even if you think it is wrong and still kind of partake, that means you're a bad person and your belief system is just totally wrong. But maybe that's just my lack of understanding on how the principles of ethics work. I certainly don't believe it's right to commit violent crime, for example, and that that's ever something condonable. But society has created a lot of gray area and a lot of other moral areas of life, a lot of other morally based decisions. And shopping is one of those categories where society has made it so that there's so much gray area to wade through to know what right and wrong actually is. So some of the obvious ethical dilemmas when we go to buy things is the question of how is this made? Who is making this product? And are they being paid ethically? Are they living a life that is reasonably provided for based on the jobs that they do to provide these consumable goods? And therefore, is our decision to purchase said consumable goods supporting somebody's reasonable, ethical, not being paid below the poverty line lifestyle? Or is it instead going towards slave labor, child labor, problematic practices of factories, and all of those things that we would not choose to support? And again, I don't think it's as black and white as being able to ethically believe that that's wrong. And then if you still choose to buy something, you are then not somebody who believes that's wrong. I think you can have the belief and still participate in the problematic behavior, and that can exist as kind of a weird dichotomy. And that's one of the things that I think veganism kind of turns people off, because there is such a strong belief by the people advocating for it that you can't really believe that if you continue to do the behavior. Feels like they're kind of trying to guilt people or make people feel bad for participating in these practices that they don't actually want to support or they philosophically don't believe in. And once again, I think if you asked most people, they would believe that people should be paid a living wage. People should not have to work in unsafe conditions. People should not have to work as a child or as a slave. But that is not the knowledge we're confronted with when we are presented with the option to buy something. There's also the matter of environmental concerns and resource wasting and climate crises and things like that. And the idea of voting with one's dollar is a pretty widespread one, I think. You know, the companies that you choose to support by buying their stuff are the companies that will continue to thrive and live on and be able to create new things. But like I said, it's this quagmire of gray area where we're wading through one decision at a time. Like, what are we supporting? How can we support better things? Is it even possible to get the things that we need and use on an everyday basis without supporting some terrible big corporation behind the scenes that's run by people in the wealthy class that have no perspective of what life is in the working class? I talked about this in a video this week, and I hope I expressed what I intended to. It was very difficult to explain, but I guess another way to look at it is that if I, as a member of the working class, formerly lacked perspective of the wealthy class because I'm not a part of it, it's very likely that these people up here lack perspective of the working class, and those are the people that run the companies. So they are the ones essentially forcing the people that depend on their products have to purchase what they create. They are the ones that kind of determine whether we're able to behave in a moral way on some level. But as we all know, we are not responsible for the actions of those in this class, nor are we capable of making them change their behavior, really, in a direct sense anyway. So the best we can do is take care of our own personal philosophies and responsibilities. And so this is where I bring it back to the belief that shopping is a moral decision, which is something that I've only recently started believing in. And once again, I can't promise that I will hold this belief for the rest of my life or not, but it is serving me during my no-buy year. And that's why I wanted to share it here on my channel. The belief that shopping is a moral decision has actually become a wonderful tool in not wanting to shop anymore, in not feeling the desire to support the side that's not with my morals. And I guess on the subject of having a shopping problem, I don't want to say addiction because I'm not a medical professional. I don't know if I would have classified as having a shopping addiction, and I don't know what the textbook ways, what the educated ways are of stopping an addiction. But I do want to say that for me, in my pattern of behavior, the thought that shopping is moral was a powerful tool to disrupt that cycle of the pattern, to stop my addiction, if I may say that informally. And I didn't think of it like that before. I wasn't looking at it in terms of, do you want to take the red pill or do you want to go back? The thing is, once you know, you can't go back. Once you have the knowledge that when you support certain companies, it's supporting slave labor, animal testing, the use of resources to the extent that the earth can't support. Once you know that shopping is supporting all of those things, you can't go back. You can't go back to consume irresponsibly and feel okay about it. And I think this is the wake-up call that many people in today's society need. So if that's true, I hope this video finds some of those people where sharing this way of thinking about it might help them disrupt their own habits. And I think with that, I have reached the most important part of the video. Once you know the problematic practices that you support by shopping, you cannot go back to being an unconscious consumer. So from that day forth, from this day forth, if you are watching this video, you must be a conscious consumer. And I will leave you with that today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If this has helped you reframe your shopping habit, please let me know. Bye for now, and I will see you in the next one. I also want to be clear that I'm not saying that everything needs to be moralized, needs to be viewed as good or bad, or that your personal values are good or bad if you believe certain things about everything in this world. But as far as consumerism goes, and the fact that real people are involved in so many steps of creating goods that we buy, I do think it is helpful. These videos are getting more polarizing.